spiritual expressions of abundant thought, served with a side of humor. A vibrant, intangible playground for the expression of ideas, concepts, and thoughts, queries, energy, research about synchronicity. With guests, stories, experiences, imagery, magic, awareness, and you. Cool coincidence. Welcome to Cool Coincidence. In this week's show, we'll be talking about the exponential synergy of synchronistic events that are occurring in today's new paradigm. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I've found in my own particular experience that the number of synchronistic events is exploding. I can't even keep up with the number of things that are happening. So I thought the best thing for me to do would be to focus on one particular, I'll call it a series or a rolling rock explanation for what I've been experiencing in the last 24 hours. We've all seen a rolling rock. It goes down the hill, it collects pieces from the left, throws pieces off to the right, and by the time it gets to the bottom, it's much bigger and much more layered than it ever was when it started. Well, that's the kind of synchronicities I've been experiencing. So to point, within the last day or so, I set an intent. And that intent was to write another novel, and to do so within the next 30 to 60 days. I honestly didn't know where I wanted to go with this one. I knew I wanted it to be a series. I thought that it should be a how-to, so I started doing research, and that's what led me to yesterday. After and in between my normal jobs, of which there are many, as a freelancer, I make book covers, I do social media management for a number of clients, Photoshop, artistry, all kinds of really cool stuff. I can set my own schedule, so I was working on doing some research in between assignments on the most popular how-to titles in ebooks and regular publications at the present time. I wanted to make sure that if I was going to invest the time in doing something and then market it, that it would be a venture that would be a productive one. So in the midst of my research, I came up with a few ideas, but nothing that really just, made me get those really, cool kind of electric charges that you get in your chest area when something just clicks. But then, now keep in mind that I set the intent. Then, yesterday, dinner time, I was watching a movie. And the movie was called Girl in Progress from 2012. And the teacher character was being played by Patricia Arquette. And she was talking to her students about coming-of-age stories and a writing assignment that she was giving them. Now, obviously that triggers the fact that I have set an intent to write something, which, by the way, comes from the fact that I get a lot of synchronistic pushes, gentle nudges in that direction. So I'm following them. And I'm not, paying any extra particular attention to what she's saying, but the fact that she's talking about writing does make the next thing intriguing. And she says to them, while answering one of the students' questions about what is a coming-of-age story, she says, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, pretend you're going in a haunted house. You go in one end and come out profoundly changed at the other. Well, that's what a coming-of-age story is like. And I got that really cool electric charge feeling in my chest, and I looked up from my plate of food and realized that was it. That was my series. I don't want to go into too much detail because if I do share the whole plot, well, it's a good one. And somebody may very well steal it and get it done quicker than I can. But let me just say that that was the significant phrase, going in one side and coming out profoundly changed on the other. So I stopped eating, I paused the movie, and I opened a notepad and started typing out some notes to make sure I didn't lose anything. And I didn't really, again, think much about it because I just wanted to capture that phrase so that I could refer back to it when I begin to outline my novel. And, as often happens, the floodgates opened. It was like someone turned on the ideas in my head, and they just started coming. And I also remember thinking, wow, this isn't me. Where's all this coming from? But I didn't care. I knew that it was exactly what I was looking for, so I made notes and made notes and made notes. And for the next several hours, other things kept triggering more ideas along that same storyline. And it was like, oh my gosh, that would fit. Oh my gosh, that's perfect for what I was thinking about over here. And I kept having these, aha, oh my gosh, holy bajoldy moments for the next several hours. Scrivener. I use a product called Scrivener. If you haven't used it as a writer, I don't care what you want to write. Articles, novels, short stories, poetry. If you have a thesis you have to write, whatever your writing genre is, whatever your modus operandi might be, Scrivener is a tool you need to check out. It's really reasonably priced, like $40 to $45, something like that, depending on whether you're getting it for a Mac or a PC. Worth every penny. Tell you what, I'll pop links in the description section so you can go check it out if you want to. Anyway, anything I write of substance other than a blog post, I now use Scrivener and have for a couple of years. I also do a lot of book formatting for clients in a product called InDesign. If they've created their book in Word, I will also, utilize that tool to make it easy for them. If they want it to look more like a magazine or something a little more professional, or if they've got tons of images and they want the text to roll around the images and it's for print as opposed to an ebook, I will use InDesign. But Scrivener for the drafting is my tool of choice. I've also participated in something called NaNoWriMo, NaNoWriMo. It is a National Novel Writing Month. It occurs every November, and for 30 days, everyone who wants to participate for free signs up, and we all connect if we want to. We can, everything from chat rooms to people actually meet locally at libraries and coffee houses to write or to talk about the writing. And you have 30 days to write 50,000 words. And it doesn't have to become anything, but the whole idea is just to get out there and get writing. And it's really fun. Well, one thing I wanted to do during NaNoWriMo was to do a 3-act book, short story. And I've never really done it that way. I've never planned it out that far in advance. I usually started with a general idea and a few characters I had in mind, and then just sat down and wrote, because for me it was just the process of writing, and then at the end of the day see what I ended up with. You have to write, I think it's around 1,665 words a day to be able to complete the 50,000 words in 30 days. Also, Scrivener, by the way, has a tracker so that you can see how many words you've written per day, or you can see how many words you've written totally. And that really helps when you're trying to track your daily progress in NaNoWriMo, because you do go into your profile each evening and write down the word count for that day when you've completed it. And it tallies it for you and shows the progress of everybody in your genre, in your neighborhood, in the groups that you've joined, so that you can collectively see how everyone is doing. It's really, really fun. You should check it out. I believe the website is nanowrimo.org or .com. Anyway, since I had not actually set out to create a structured 3-act story, breaking down chapters and scenes, I wanted to do that this time. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to open up Scrivener and structure it all out. And when I was done, be able to go in and literally just go in and start writing the different scenes. I wanted to figure out the quickest, easiest way to do that, and I couldn't quite visualize it because I'd never used Scrivener that way before. So I went searching. And again, synchronistically, the first thing I found was exactly what I wanted. It was a video by a girl. It was 45 minutes long, and surprisingly, she set up a 3-act outline in Scrivener. I thought, well, that was really good, but there was a few things that she did that were different than the way that I would do them. I wonder if there are other people who've done the same thing, and I can compare and contrast the different methods that they use to achieve their goal of setting up the outline in Scrivener. I couldn't find one. I found a number of them where they showed you how they outlined in Scrivener, and each person had their own style, but it was not exactly what I was looking for. So I started to laugh to myself. I thought, the first one was the right one. I got exactly what I wanted the first time out. And that's how it continued for the next few hours as I began to set up my Scrivener outline. And it was flowing like you would not believe. So, wrapping this all up into a nice little package with a bow, this synchronistic rolling rock began simply by my setting an intent, not even realizing the immense power that intent had. From there, everything came to me. The last thing I would like to add that I find extremely important to this journey was that this all started from Tuesday's The Collective Imagination show. Lisa interviewed Darryl Anka, also known as Bashar, and he said something that stuck with me. Darryl mentions the fact that when you set an intent, it is I think he used the word excitement you feel about something that actually solidifies it. And I thought about that. I thought about it for the next 24 hours or so. So when I set my intent to write a novel, I did it with that feeling of excitement. And I had to find it, so to speak. I had to, I thought about things that made me that excited, moments that I've had in my life, so that I could resonate that excitement in my chest area and recognize that feeling so that I could apply that feeling to my intent. So folks, from the collective imagination and Lisa's questioning, through Darryl's lips, to my intent, to the synchronicities that followed, and the novel that is to come, you have my experience of exponential, synergistic synchronicity. For more stories just like this one, visit me each week here on 5D Media Network on the show Cool Coincidence, or check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/Cool Coincidence. Until next time then, signing off from this dimension and stepping into the next.